Time to look at aldehydes. Aldehydes are going to introduce what's known as a carbonyl group. That's a C with a double bond to an oxygen. They're named using the suffix al, so al. And an aldehyde, which I'll note later on the screen, only occurs when that C double bond O is at the end of the line. It has to be at one end of the main chain for it to be an aldehyde. So in this example, I have 5 carbons, therefore it's a pent. There's only single bonds between the carbons. So the next part of the word would be pentan. So the AN is for the alkane part of it. All right. Now we can see the functional group here. This carbon is at the end of the line. It's what we call a terminal carbon. So it's either, in this case, carbon 1 or 5. All right. So this means it's an aldehyde. Okay. So I'm going to highlight this terminal carbon aspect, all right, because that's the slight difference between aldehydes and what we'll study next would be ketones. Okay, so the suffix for an aldehyde is al, so this would be pentanal. All right, so let's look at something a little bit more complex, but again, when an aldehyde is present, the C double bond O is found on what's called a terminal carbon atom. So it's at one end of the main chain. All right. So let's make up a molecule here. Put a few functional groups in it. I'm also going to look at including a functional group that is also normally named with a suffix. Okay. So I've got an aldehyde. I've got a fluorine, which is a type of halogen. I've got an OH, which is an alcohol. And I've got a nitro. All right, so we've also got 6 carbons in the main chain. Now, the alcohol is normally named with the suffix ol, all, but the aldehyde we've just seen gets named with the suffix al. So alcohols can also be named with the prefix hydroxy. All right, that was introduced in the alcohol video. All right, so that's going to help me get out of this bind that I'm going to be in. All right, I'm going to number my chain starting with the aldehyde carbon. All right, because aldehyde, you'll find, is the highest priority functional group on our list. All right, so that's carbon 1. Carbon 6 will be over on the left. So alphabetical order for your prefixes: 3-fluoro, 5-hydroxy, 5-nitro, 1-hexan, 1-al. Now I'm going to note this here as well, that oftentimes we would just write this as 3-fluoro, 5-hydroxy, 5-nitro-hexanal. We would leave out the 1. Why would that be? And I'm going to draw your attention maybe to the definition up there in blue as to what constitutes an aldehyde.